Hey everybody, and welcome to a new video on E.Stampley art. In this particular video, we're going to be doing sort of a tutorial. I'm going to be doing different types of eyes that I do for my characters when I draw them. These are not the end-all be-all of the different types of eyes that you can draw. There's so many out there, but these are the ones that I tend to draw when I do characters. I'm going to be using my iPad and Adobe Fresco to do this video. Feel free to follow along, and let's get started, shall we? Okay, so the first eye that we're going to do is a very simple eye. I mean, extremely simple. You know, there's the top of your eyelid, and then obviously your eyebrow. You can make it a little darker, give it a little more definition. You don't have to, but I tend to give it a little more definition than just a straight line. By the way, if you are also using Adobe Fresco and want to follow along, I am using the pixel brushes under sketching, and I'm using the pencil brush, by the way. So this is a very simple eye. Obviously you can shade it in, and you can do all of this on regular with a pencil and paper too. You don't have to use an iPad, obviously. But yeah, very simple eye. I mean, you can add even a little more detail and still keep it very simple. Or you can add like the bottom of the eye like that, and even just like a little hint of the crease of the eyelid there at the top. So, like I said, very, very simple eye. The next eye that I'm going to work on is, it's kind of the one I use pretty much almost all the time. It's a very anime and manga inspired eye. Starts off a little same as like the simple eye. I tend to draw a lot of female characters, so we're going to make this a female eye. And like I said, it starts off very similar like the simple eye, but you're just kind of adding even more details to it. Like I made the eyelash, like I said, this is a female, so I made her eyelashes a little thicker, gave her like little wisps of her eyelashes down at the bottom, gave a little more of definition to the eyelid up here, and very similar with the eyebrow as I sort of do with the simple eye. I just give it a little bit more definition. Obviously you can also do with, if you don't want to kind of do like the hairs to make it look like hair like this, you can always do your eyebrows just in a shape like that. But I tend to like, you know, giving it the little texture with the hair and stuff. And then of course, you know, shade that in, and then I tend to add obviously the little shiny spots that you do when you tend to do anime or manga inspired eyes. You have a lot of shininess in the eye. So that tends to be the standard eye that I usually tend to do. Obviously you can add, you know, a little bit more detail if you want to. Sometimes I've also added just the hint where you can see you know, a little more detail in the eye area. If you're making it like a little bit older of a person, you know, give it a little bit more definition around the eyes, you know, so you can kind of see like where, you know, the eye socket is. Can bring down this a little bit more if you want to. I've also seen it where people like add a little bit here. I think I used to do that too, but I don't tend to do that anymore. But yeah, so it's a little more stylized manga anime kind of inspired eye. And I've also seen ones, especially if you're doing like, say, dudes usually, you know, so it's not so round. I've seen ones where they are a little more stylized, kind of simple, but you know, definitely more stylized. I've seen it mostly on usually maybe sketchy or villain characters. I've seen this before. But it's very extremely stylized. Like they have a very heavy lid. But yeah, I've seen this mostly on like, say, male characters before. Obviously you can give a little more definition to under the eye there. But yeah, so this is a very, say, stylized manga type kind of like eye, mostly reserved probably for like male characters or that kind of thing. But yeah, that's another kind of eye that you can do as well. Yeah, so here are kind of like some two stylized eyes that I've used before when doing characters. Mostly this eye, like I said, I tend to do more female characters, but if you're doing a male character, you can do a very similar thing, just maybe, you know, leave off the eyelash parts and stuff. It gives it a more male feel if you take those off. But you can also, like with the very stylized male eye, like I did for the female eye, if you wanted to just do a shape. I've also seen it where they did it like this and then just kind of gave it like a little indication, you know, that it's like a brow. I've seen that before too. So that's another way you can do it. But yeah, like I said, this is the one I tend to do more often than not. So yeah, the stylized eye. Lastly, we're going to be doing more of a realistic eye. So it sort of starts out the same as your main eye, but you're going a little more realistic in its shape. Adding like your tear ducts over here. Tend to add a couple more lines at the bottom just to kind of, this kind of makes it look like, you know, the eye, the bottom part of the eye. I tend to make this a little thicker. Still like your eyelash types. And then obviously the more definition around your eye, because you actually do, regardless of how young or old you are, you do have little bits of definition that are around your eye. And then obviously with your eyebrow, it's going to be a little thicker, much more texture, you know, like doing the individual hairs. And you can kind of clean it up as you're going along. Much more, you know, shape the bottom of it a little bit so it looks a little cleaner, you know, like that. A little more shading to your eyelid there. And your tear ducts. Obviously you have like actual eyelashes that come off of the bottom of your eyelid, as so, and ones that come off the top as well. And obviously you can make these as thick or as thin as you want. If you want to add more hair, you know, feel free. You can do that. And then your eyeball, which needs to be a little bit more rounded. In the like stylized and simple versions, they're a little bit more oval, but in, you know, your eye is actually more rounded. I'm not doing a fantastic job here, but you get the idea. You should have a little more roundness to it than your stylized or your simple eye. It's a little more rounded shape because it's very circular. And then the middle of your eye, obviously, which is also very round, very circular, and dark. Shade that in. And I mean, you could stop here if you want to. I like to add a little bit more of the details with the outer part here. And then just add a little bit of a shadow that goes over your eye that's actually from your eyelid being over your eye. So there you are, your more realistic looking eye. Just adding, you know, just kind of building on what we started with the simple eye, and then the very stylized eye, except this has just, you know, more detail. That's more the thing, and you're trying to be a little bit more anatomically correct as opposed to the other two. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, feel free, let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate all of your feedback. If you want to know about when new videos are coming out on the channel, feel free to hit the notification bell, or feel free to hit the red subscribe button down below. As of this moment, I believe I have over 150 subscribers. Thank you guys oh so much. I appreciate all of your love and feedback. It really just gives me more drive to put out more videos on my channel. Thank you so much. Of course, if you want to follow more of my artistic journey, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at E.Stampley Art. As always, I'd love to thank you guys for tuning in my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.